for me personally, I've dealt with a lot of rejection in my life. Growing up, I got bullied severely every single day in school, pushed around, picked on, called every name, pushed down the stairs. You can think about those things there. And then it's a longer situation there, right? Dealing with that kind of rejection makes you feel like you're a loser, makes you feel like you have really low self-worth, makes you feel like you've got no confidence, makes you feel like you haven't got much to offer and that people don't like you. And oftentimes they've picked something in you that is probably your insecurity, something that you're struggling with. And for me, a lot of that was, I was a feminine young boy. I didn't really have any friends, so I was an easy target. I was isolated, kind of things like that, and those were insecurities within me. Of course, adding the gay thing on top, that was a big thing because again, growing up when I grew up 20 odd years ago, when I was going through all the stuff internally, was the world was different. Where I was, there was no openly gay people. I didn't know. I'd never met someone who was gay. All I ever saw was poor negative representation on TV. And so, yeah, for me, it was like, wow, I was automatically already rejecting a big part of who I was because of the way that I saw gay people in the media. I saw in society what I'd heard of them. And then, of course, what everyone was, bullying me for as well. Welcome to the Queer Quest podcast, your beacon of light and sprinkle of glitter in the queer community. I'm your host, Christiana Green, CEO and founder of Queer Quest and a transformation coach for queer individuals. And together, we're embarking on a journey of transformation. Each week, we bring you a new training topic, all connected with visionary queer leaders in healing and coaching, diving deep into conversations that inspire growth, celebrate diversity, and empower you to live authentically. So wherever you are, settle in and let's get ready to unlock the vibrant potential within. This is where your quest begins. Hello, you fabulous souls, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Queer Quest podcast. I'm your host, Christiana Green, the CEO and founder of Queer Quest and a transformation coach for the queer community. So in this episode of the Queer Quest podcast, I really wanted to talk about a topic that I think is something that is, touched near and dear to my life and to many queer people that I know. And I think it's something that the whole community can probably relate to. And it's talking about how do we heal from rejection and also go on a journey of acceptance, self-acceptance, right? And like I said, rejection, it's something that as queer people, we've gone through on a psychological level, a mental level, an emotional level, a spiritual level. It's really affected our lives. And this is also the, coming from, the fear of it to start with, but it goes to a deeper level of that. So we're going to really jump in today. We're going to talk about rejection. We're going to talk about the psychological impact that it has on us. We're going to talk about some coping mechanisms that we can do to process rejection. We're going to go on a journey of how do we find acceptance within, and what do we need to do to build a support system around us that's going to help us to no longer really deal with those deep-seated emotions of rejections. And then we're going to work on how we reframe the current rejection that we're probably facing in our life right now, talk about how do we move forward, and then finally, what are some resources for support that we as a community can offer each other so that we can heal from rejection and actually really go on a self journey, a lifelong self journey of acceptance. So let's kind of jump in and talk about really defining rejection in its different forms, because there are more than one kind of rejection, and it doesn't just happen, so probably if we're looking at it from a queer perspective, the way that we probably are going to feel levels of rejection would be coming from possibly our family, coming from friends or people in school, peers, colleagues, etc., social settings like that, right? Or society, social media these days. It can come from, a romantic partner, wanting to find a partner and going on dates and being rejected in those areas. And it also can probably come in forms of going for jobs, right? And maybe feeling like you're getting rejected. And it's not necessarily because of your skill set. It might be because some people have biases towards people from this LGBTQIA plus community. Now, we know that rejection is a deep-seated emotion, and it affects people differently. But from my research and from like the clients that I've helped overcome this and deal with this and heal from this, rejection at its core it's an emotion where really we feel like someone is seeing us and then looking at us and you're not good enough. You're not worthy enough. You're a piece of shit. You're XYZ, right? For me personally, I've dealt with a lot of rejection in my life. Growing up, I got bullied severely every single day in school, pushed around, picked on, called every name, pushed down the stairs. You can think about those things there. And then it's a longer situation there, right? Dealing with that kind of rejection makes you feel like you're a loser, makes you feel like you have really low self-worth, makes you feel like you've got no confidence, makes you feel like you haven't got much to offer and that people don't like you. And oftentimes they've picked something in you that is probably your insecurity, something that you're struggling with. And for me, a lot of that was, I was a feminine young boy. I didn't really have any friends, so I was an easy target. I was isolated, kind of things like that, and those were insecurities within me. Of course, adding the gay thing on top, that was a big thing because again, growing up when I grew up 20 odd years ago, when I was going through all the stuff internally, was the world was different. Where I was, there was no openly gay people. I didn't know. I'd never met someone who was gay. All I ever saw was poor negative representation on TV. And so, yeah, for me, it was like, wow, I was automatically already rejecting a big part of who I was because of the way that I saw gay people in the media. I saw in society what I'd heard of them. And then, of course, what everyone was, bullying me for as well. So that for me left me feeling, like I said, no confidence, low self-worth, self-hatred, like a loser. And, that led to depression, anxiety, loneliness, isolating myself. And then at its darkest, contemplating suicide as well. Now, I know that rejection is going to affect queer individuals, you know, slightly differently, but it really affects us deeply due to these societal norms and biases. Now, I know it's gotten better over the years, and I keep saying that, but it isn't anywhere near where it needs to be to really support our community in its finest work so that we don't actually have to deal with this, right? Because still the process of us having to come out and go through that process because it's not socially accepted means that we go through that the internal battle, the internalized emotions. And then we go through those feelings of shame, feelings of wishing this wasn't my life, feelings of internalized homophobia or internalized queer phobia, really, bargaining, trying to live a life, that's not us as well, living in the closet, all of these different things, right? Living double lives. And so a lot of that will have its, psychological impact on us. And because, like I said, we as a queer community go through a lot of these similar experiences, rejection for us is a lot more deep rooted because again, there's a big part of who we are that is, I guess, rejected by society in a sense. And then other people in our life still we struggle with because there's always going to be someone. Now, I've never met a single person who's gay or queer who has gone through life and not had someone reject them or have an issue with them because of that part of their life, right? Now, it's just reality, right? So knowing that means that the level of rejection and the fear of rejection is at our ultimate high. And so when we talk about the fear of rejection, there's a lot of times that we have this, we build up the rejection in our own mind. So that even if it's not a big rejection, it's a small one, because we build it up so much, we have this fear around it. So when it hits even harder. Who out there probably has, done something really minor or it's been a situation where maybe you felt like a little bit of rejection, but just a little bit, it feels like someone stabbed you in the heart, right? You feel this immense emotional reaction to something really small when it comes to rejection. It's because our tolerance towards it is really, really, really low because we've dealt with a lot of it and we build up this fear around it. So any little small thing related to rejection is going to come back to us and make us feel deeply, deeply rejected. And it's a strong emotional reaction that we have towards rejection. Now, I luckily have gone through a deep journey of healing, a journey of growth and understanding around this. And I was able to clear out a lot of stuff that I've dealt with in the past with that, because I remember so many times in my life where just the smallest amount of rejection would hit me hard. And then it would lead me to going out, drinking, and then ultimately getting on the drugs to avoid those emotions or try to numb myself from those feelings, because I didn't want to feel it, because it really hurt, really, really, really hurt. And I understand deeply how so many people in our community can get caught up in substance abuse and addictions because they're trying to numb themselves from some of this deep emotional psychological impacts that we have. So really, how does rejection trigger these feelings of self-doubt, anxiety, depression? A lot of what I've been talking about, because it hits us so hard from some of those small things that can happen. It really is going to trigger you to go into those addictions or the substance abuse, the anxiety, the depression, the self-doubt, and then try to like avoid those things as well. And it's just one of those things where if you've been rejected by family, by friends, by society, by colleagues, it's a compounding effect. And of these multiple rejections, and this just eats further away at your mental health, which is why we have a lot of people in our community who deal with long-term mental health issues relating to depression, social anxiety. They struggle with, making decisions. They doubt themselves, right? Because doubt and rejection are very much in a similar fear. Because if you aren't if you're wanting to put yourself out there in a sense, but you have this big fear of rejection, you're going to doubt yourself to do it, because you're like, What happens if I get rejected here? What happens if I do this and someone rejects me?" Right? You doubt whether you're going to be able to do and achieve and have the things that you want in your life. And so you stop yourself from even putting yourself out there. So this could be put yourself out there for dating. This could be putting yourself out there for going for, a better job, or and performance increase. What do they call it? When you a promotion. God, I've been out of the corporate world for so long that I forgot what the term was. But yes, when it comes down to it, you could stop yourself from doing that because of the psychological impact that rejection has on you. You doubt yourself, so you don't go out and actually do the things that you need to do in order to maybe have some of the things that you want in your life. I've done that myself. I know that so many times where I felt deep seated rejection, I would pull myself away from the online dating or dating in general for months and months and months, right? And it would take me a lot to build myself back up to doing that, because I didn't want to feel the deep rejection. I didn't want to feel it, because really, that deep down, what the rejection was telling me was that if I do this, someone else, rejects me, then all of those things that I've been telling myself for all this time is true. I'm a loser. I'm not good enough. I'm worthless, right? All of those, which were some of my really deep rooted issues, was that I felt really worthless. I had no confidence in who I was. I felt unlovable. And so me going on a date with someone or putting myself online, because people can be cruel and say like you're an ugly whatever, then you feel the rejection, and then it would eat away at me. So I would pull myself away from going online dating apps, and still go out hoping that I'd meet someone, but not putting myself out there and like going up to someone. I was very much hoping that someone would always come up to me and be my Prince Charming, save me from that. That's why we always, probably a lot of people in our community, come up with fantasies in their head around finding someone who will come and save them, like like I said, a Prince Charming or a white knight saving us from ourselves, and from all the damage that we've had, and healing us. But the fact is that no one's going to come and save you. We have to be the Prince Charming ourselves. We have to be the white knight, to do that for our own life. And it takes a lot of time and effort, and it takes a lot of support from other people to do that. I wouldn't have been able to do it all on my own. I'm so grateful that I found people to support me. I joined up in all these different programs. I've done the world's best programs in personal development. I've read, hundreds and hundreds of books, spent over $250,000 on personal development to get to a place where I can be of service and support people in our community. And that's really where Queer Quest is formed from, is because I have gone through all this stuff. I've had to overcome it. And I've really opened my eyes to realizing how big of an issue this is within the queer community, And now knowing that I want to do something to support and help the entire community by building a space where there is an online platform for the world's best queer coaches and healers and teachers and gurus who can come with their expertise and can teach people in one succinct space, so that you can heal, you can grow, you can transform, you can evolve, and ultimately you can live the fucking life that you want to live as well. So that's really where the whole notion of Queer Quest was formed. So really for us, it's about, like I said, really helping us to deal with the psychological impact that rejection can have on us, so that we can put ourselves out there and do the things and achieve the things that we really want to have. So we no longer doubt ourselves. We actually get to make the decisions. We get to be the driver instead of the person in the back seat who's being driven around as well. So what do we need to do? What are some of the, I guess, healthy ways for us to process rejection? Now, there is many different ways. For me, one of the best ways was I was able to talk to someone I trusted. I got a therapist, I got a coach, and was able to talk about some of this stuff that was up here, the ones that I was really dealing with, the deeper rejection, right? Because of that, I was able to understand that this is not just something that one person, me, goes through. I felt like I was very lonely in this, right? Because really rejection is very isolating. You feel like I'm the only one that's getting rejected, right? You don't really see the bigger picture. So to talk to someone who deals with this kind of stuff and sees it, realizes that, wow, this isn't uncommon. But also to realize that, like, these aren't small things, they've compounded. If it was just this one event here, yeah, that's a little strange why you're getting so affected. But because you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200 times in your life where you felt this immense rejection without having to process it, it builds up, it compounds there as well. So really being able to understand that, like, it's no wonder you're feeling the way that you're feeling because of what you've gone through. But also realizing that now that you know about that and that you can process this, what can I do to change it? And a great way also to do that outside of talking is just to get into a habit of journaling. Now, there's so many tools out there. You can, if you're the old school and you want to write it out, great. You can type it out on your phone, or you could do voice notes. I love to do a voice note now because I'm hearing myself say it out loud, some of these thoughts in my head, and going, okay, I'm already realizing that this is sounding a bit more crazy than it did in my head, and it gets it out of my head, and boom. So if I'm saying, look, you know what, I just did this thing here at work and it didn't go as planned, and I'm feeling, rejected by it, and it's making me doubt it. I start to say it and I go, okay, like that is strange because that's not who you are. You don't normally feel that way. And yes, of course, not everything's going to go perfectly, but that doesn't mean it has any effect on who you are as a person. It just means that in this instance, there's something to learn and for you to grow and evolve and do something better the next time you want to try that as well, right? And that could be the same thing with dating as well. What's happened in this situation, what that made this occur for it to not work out? Was this even the right person for me? You getting those thoughts out of your head realizes that actually there's nothing to be rejected about. Like, this was a I dodged a bullet moment, because sometimes like I said, when we build up the story in our head of what something should be and it doesn't work out, we feel rejected because we have this immense level of expectation of how something might or should go as well. And so really dealing with the expectations and trying to go into things with the desire of what you want, and going in there going, is this actually going to lead me down the path to what I really want as well?
In a world where every journey is unique, one path shines brightly for the queer community. Introducing Queer Quest, the first of its kind personal development platform designed exclusively for us, by us. At Queer Quest, we understand the multifaceted journey of queer identity. That's why we've created a space where you can explore, learn, and grow with the guidance of queer experts from around the globe. Whether you're seeking to enhance your physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual well-being, Queer Quest is your gateway to transformation. Imagine embarking on quests tailored to your journey of self-discovery, finding community, and unlocking your queer excellence. Queer Quest offers online courses, coaching programs, and soon workshops, seminars, retreats, and festivals, all designed to empower you to live your best life. Ready to start your adventure? Join us at www.queerquest.vip to become part of a movement towards personal and collective greatness. Sign up today to join the waitlist and be the first to know when we launch. QueerQuest, where your journey of self-discovery and transformation begins. Don't just dream of a life filled with pride and purpose, make it your reality with QueerQuest. Visit www.queerquest.vip now. Your quest awaits.
Now, a great way to also move around some of this negative energy is to engage in physical activities. Keep yourself in a healthy mindset and a physical body. It'll help you to process some of the stuff, right? Because a lot of the time we have emotions that get stored in our body, right? So being able to move around, like that's why I always, we always feel our best when we're out dancing, because we're moving our body, we're moving stuff around as well. Now, these things can be temporary fixes, like the physical activities, and you can do some deeper work on your nervous system. A lot of the time I do it with my one-on-one clients, stuff like timeline therapy. And what that does is it allows us to go back along our timeline and really process, emotions like anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, shame, rejection, loneliness, get them out of our nervous system so that when we're moving forward, they're no longer there anymore. So we can actually have a clean slate within our body energetically. We're still going to have the memory of those events. We don't actually have the triggered emotions that get attached to it because we're clearing out stuff from our nervous system. A lot of the stuff that we hold on to, like the deep-seated rejection, is because it's sitting within our nervous system and we actually haven't learned how to release it from our body effectively as well. Now, we need to, like I said, work on, if you're someone who might have, say, destructive tendencies like I did, which could be substance abuse, could be addictions, could be self-isolation, then we need to figure out, how do we get you in a place where you can, I guess, avoid these things, or maybe put in better habits in place instead, so that, I'm not like I used to do. Like I said, I as soon as I would feel that rejection, glug, 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 start getting pissed, right? And then it would be, sometimes it would be an absolute mess that I created for myself with what I've done in those moments. Because if you're in a negative mind space and you're getting absolutely hammered, you can literally become a semi-truck going down a one-way street. Everything in your path is going to become an absolute chaos, right? And I've done that to myself, and yeah, I'm sure those of you who've done it can very much relate to it. And those of you who haven't, thank God you haven't gone down that path. All I can say is, you don't want to go down there. And so for us, it's about, like I said, what do we need to do? If that's our path and that's our normal defense mechanism or way of coping mechanism, how do we avoid those? What do I need to do to get out of the path of destruction so that I can, like I said, make healthier choices to process that rejections as well? Now, when we're able to process this rejection, what do we need to do? What is the best thing for us to do moving forward? And how do we go about it? We need to start finding acceptance, self-acceptance within us. What do we need to do to give ourselves some more compassion, give ourselves some more self-love and self-acceptance, and make these the foundational steps? Because isn't it probably true that when we get rejected, the thing that hurts the most is that we believe those things to be true? So if we can go on a journey of self-love and self-acceptance, then really what we can do is, even in those moments where we might be perceived to be a rejection, if we're coming from a place of self-love and self-acceptance, it can be, okay, yep, that's a bit disappointing, but that wasn't for me, that wasn't for my life. Now, right now, me and my partner, for example, are doing something together. We're looking to find a place that we can have as a business, like a rental property that we can do as an Airbnb here in Bali. And there's been some really great things that we see as a great opportunity, and we're getting really excited about it. And boom, someone else took it. And it happened in a bad way or whatever, something had happened. And so we could feel rejected in this matter. And my partner deals with some parts of that. He gets really disappointed and upset by it. Whereas I go, okay, obviously this is not meant for me, because if it was meant for me, I would have it. So I can quite easily get over that and have a small moment of disappointment and go, okay, Let's move on to the next one because this wasn't us. Because I find that every no, you are one step closer to the right yes. So don't look at some of these things as a negative. Go, oh my God, this is a positive. Thank you for saying no. Thank you for not wanting to be with me, because I know that if you like that this isn't the right thing for me, because it has to be both sides, right? Both people need to be invested in something for it to be right, because you would not, would it be fair to say that if someone just would stayed with you for forever only because they didn't want to hurt you, but they didn't love you, they didn't find you attractive, and they only dated you because they were like, oh, we don't want to make him feel rejected? Would you not notice that you probably feel more rejection within, because you're like, I can sense that this person doesn't have the same feelings to me, but he's not saying it to me? So them telling you the truth is actually a gift. So that's how I often will reframe it to me. It's like, this person is giving me a gift, right? I'm reframing the rejection to see that me not getting that house, that's a gift. This isn't meant for me. That person saying no, that they're not interested in me romantically, that's a gift. I can get closer to finding my person instead of wasting time, wasting time on this area here, spending all my energy on here, on this person. I can reframe it to being given a gift. It's a redirection. It gives us an opportunity to move to reassess. Okay, I'm moving down this path here. I'm rejected. Do I want to keep going straight, or do I need to make a little left turn, make a little right turn, right? What is it that I need to do in order to be able to do that? And so you really just need to see that dealing with some of these significant rejections, if we can reframe it, we can actually move ourselves forward in the direction that's actually really where we need to be as well. So that's something that I think is important for us to do. What do we need to do to really focus on building some self-confidence and resilience? Like for us, it's like there are some things in life that definitely can lift your spirits up, right? And of course, if you're a more confident person or a more insecure person, you're going to feel rejection a lot stronger if you're insecure than if you're confident. So something that I like to do and work on with my clients is, how do I build up your self-confidence? How do I work through some of your insecurities? How do we build up the resilience so that, again, when something comes that, could be perceived as a deep rejection, you really go, okay, what are the tools that I've got here? Now, for me, I like to do things like mindfulness and meditations. I'll probably be doing a meditation probably at least 5, 6 times a week, and that could be 10, 15 minutes. And often it's a guided meditation where I'm going on a little bit of a journey, right? I love those things because, they're short, sharp, and they can be helpful to you in building up your resilience. Or you could be someone who's really good at positive affirmations. It could be, I love and accept myself for who I am, you know. My ideal partner is waiting for me to find them, all of these things. If you keep saying those over and over and you start to really believe that, then when you get the rejected from someone, you go, this wasn't my ideal partner. I don't feel rejected by that because my ideal partner is waiting for me to find him. Boom. I've got to go out and look for that. That means I've got to put myself out there to do that. And so then if I put myself out there and person A over here doesn't see me as their ideal partner, cool. Thank you so much. I've got to go now and keep going because my ideal partner is waiting for me to find them. You see what I'm saying? You can put some of these things in play to help you move past that, to help you get past those, like I said, fear of rejection. You actually being able to put yourself out there and do the things that you need to do to get that career, to find that partner, to get the right house, whatever it is, it's big or small, you can do small things that will amount to a big result later on because you keep going. Success is taking lots of small steps in the right direction. And sometimes getting to the right direction means you've gone through some mistakes, some rejections, and you had to change your course and learn from that. And boom, boom, boom. The success is not just success after success. Success comes with small little failures or mistakes along the way, and that you've learned from and you've gotten there. And it's the same thing with dating. It's the same thing with, anything where you put yourself out there for rejection that look, it means that you mean something to you, right? So you've got to look down and go, actually, this is important to me. Finding a partner is important to me. So why would I want to pull myself away from the dating game because of, my fears? If it's important, I need to put myself out there. Yes, I might deal with some disappointments, but I also might get some amazing things that come with it. And that's the thing that we also need to focus on is that if I'm really keen on having this thing, which is a partner, a new job, a better career, whatever it is, if it's important, you have to put yourself out there. And you have to believe that the more you keep going, you are going to get what you really need to do. And not like me in the past, where I would put myself out there, get a small rejection, hold off for 6 to 12 months, put myself out there, get a small rejection. And years go by, and I would feel disappointed and hurt and all of these things and unlovable. But I was creating that space for myself. I was creating myself to be unavailable emotionally, right? I was emotionally unavailable. And that's not something that's attractive in a partner, an emotionally unavailable person, right? I mean, definitely not for me. I don't want to be with someone who's emotionally unavailable, right? Now, when we go on this journey, and it's something that I find really important for us as a queer community, is that building it's building a support system. I know that there are many times in my life that I haven't allowed myself to have a support system, and I've been good at pushing people away. And you probably can relate to that at some point in life as well. But there are also some other times in my life where I have built an amazing support system and they've been my saving grace, right? Now, again, a big thing about QueerQuest is actually having a community, having a support system of people who are in your queer spaces, who are wanting to heal and grow, who've been through stuff. Imagine being able to go through your own journey, healing and growth, transformation, evolution, whatever you want to call it, and know that you can have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in a community who've been there and done that and are going through it at the same time, and they're just looking for people like you to be in their tribe. It's amazing. So the thing that lights me up the most is like having a supportive queer community, because I know so many of you guys out there, you message me and you say that you feel like this community is negative. This community is something that um has a lot of negative connotations to it. Doesn't really support, you're trying to do and have in your life, and makes you feel like worse than when you were in the closet, right? Because you're getting rejected by these people. So this is what QueerQuest is about. So, and this is the importance for queer people to have and surround ourselves with supportive, understanding people that we can call our chosen family, right? And really highlighting the queer communities and safe spaces that we can create for ourselves that is all about acceptance and healing. And that's why QueerQuest is an important factor for me, because we deserve to have these communities where we can find other people that are just like us, going through these similar journeys as well. I hope that really makes you think about what's possible, instead of just thinking about where you're at and what you've been struggling with, especially when it comes to finding a supportive queer community. It's out there, and I know it's been hard to find, but I'm making it a hell of a lot easier for us to be able to find with QueerQuest as well. So moving forward, I've talked about a lot of different practical steps that you can take when you're experiencing rejection, to also heal from rejection, to go on a journey of self acceptance, right? And this a lot comes down to number one, seeking mentorship or coaching or therapy from someone who understands your journey, right? Now, I've been to so many different healers and therapists and coaches in my life. And I've been to people who are part of the queer community and people who are not. And I can tell you there is a far difference in the level of understanding and me feeling vulnerable enough to open up and be real and raw with someone who is queer and someone who isn't. Because when someone doesn't get it, it's like, I don't want to have to explain to you the bare basics of what it's like to be a queer person. So getting someone, like I said, who is there, who understands it, who's been through it, who deals with this on a regular daily basis, to help you to move forward. So finding someone to help you is going to be key. Doing stuff that, like I said, like the mindfulness, the positive affirmations, finding a supportive queer community, really journaling what you are, like getting the thoughts out of your head. Like, these are some key things that you can do today. It's going to help you to move forward and really start to, focus on celebrating some of those small wins as you go through. That's the thing over there. I used to feel like a real deep sense of rejection over it. Since I've been doing my journaling, I realized it's not a big deal anymore. It's not a problem. Well, since I've been getting some support from a coach or a therapist, now I don't worry about that anymore. Or since I've been, really doing my positive affirmations, I no longer worry that when someone doesn't like me in the same way, that the world is going to end, because it's not. We keep going. Always remember this. Every single dark day in your life, you've made it through. And you have the tools and the resources within you to make it through every other dark day that will come, because life isn't perfect. Life has its ups and downs. Some of those days are bright and some of those days are very dark. But knowing you can get through it is the key. You can, because you always have and you always will. So I trust that this has been a, impactful episode for you. And, I always love hearing from you. So feel free to share some of your stories, something that maybe you've taken away from the episode. If you have any questions as well, you can always reach out to me. You know where I'm at on all social medias. Anyway, or you can comment below, depending on exactly where you are listening to or watching this episode. And just know that the journey to acceptance, full acceptance, self-acceptance, it's a lifelong journey. We're continuing to go through stuff as we go through stuff. And as we go through stuff, we have to realize that we have to go on a journey of accepting ourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly, the flaws, the highlights, everything in between as well. And when you can start to do that, you can start to see your life on a very different level. So I really trust that this has been a like I said, impactful episode. I'll be back later in the week with another episode of the Queer Quest podcast. But until then, always remember that you've got this and I've got you. Bye for now.
Are you ready to embark on a transformative journey towards love and happiness? Introducing the 21-day Gay Men's Guide to Love and Happiness. This isn't just a course, it's a pathway to discovering your true self, overcoming challenges, and embracing happiness. Join hundreds of gay men who found joy and freedom. Learn from Cristiano Green, a coach with 20 years experience and a journey like yours. For a limited time, get this life-changing course at 75% off with a 100% risk-free guarantee. There's nothing to lose, but so much to gain. Your new life is just a click away. Enroll in the 21-day Gay Men's Guide to Love and Happiness today. Visit theglobalpridecollective.com and start your journey towards a happier, more fulfilled you.